Work on your game.
It's Trey.
J. Jones.
Kick Jeans.
Work on your game.
DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today is Saturday, August 16th. We're here for Q&A number 32. For those of you who don't know how this works, I record this Q&A every Friday afternoon, which I'm doing right now. It's August 15th. I'm recording. Video comes out on the 16th where you're watching it. I go through the comments of the previous week's Q&A. For this week's Q&A, I'm going through the comments of Q&A number 31. You have a comment there or a question there, I'm going to reply to your question in this video as long as you ask me a good question. I think we got a lot of questions here, so we're going to get right into it. First, a couple housekeeping things. The Work on Your Game meetup did happen last Sunday, August 10th. I did record a video, a recap video, and to let y'all know what's going to come next on the heels of that meetup. That video will be coming probably sometime in the next week. Signature workouts, we got the signature offer going on right now. You can check the annotations, which are probably one of those up there, and also links in the video description for the signature offer, or you can just go to hoophandbook.com. You see the signature offer, which is 16 new signature workout programs, 30-day programs based on the skills of your favorite NBA players. We're going to have a total of 53 programs. Once those come out, we already got 37 on the website. Right now, you name an NBA All-Star, I guarantee you we got a program for that player out right now. Any other questions y'all got, leave them in the comments of this video. I'm going to reply to them next week in the next Q&A. So let's get right into this and not waste too much time. First question comes from Gantix556, and he says, when did you dunk for the first time and how much did you weigh? And in parentheses he has skinny or average. Well, first of all, Gantix, the first time I dunked, I was 16 years old. How much did I weigh? I have absolutely no idea. People always ask these questions. How old were you when you dunked? How tall were you? What was your body type? And usually those are two questions I usually get asked. Actually, the body type is kind of a new one. Usually people ask me how tall I was. I don't know how tall I was. If I try to guess, then I'd be lying to you, so then it would be useless information to you. I was 16 years old. I do know that for a fact. How much did I weigh? I have absolutely no idea. Why would I even know that? Why would I have kept track of that? I don't know. Why you're asking me that? I guess you're trying to compare your situation to mine. And I'm going to tell you that that type of comparison game is futile. It has no application to your situation. You got to apply your situation to yourself, what you need to work on. If another person was 16, I mean, maybe LeBron James was dunking at 14. So if you're 15, that doesn't mean it's impossible for you to be able to dunk, or that there's something wrong with you, or that you're doing something incorrectly. Your body is your body, another person's body is their body. So really focus on what you need to do. Focus on your path. No two individuals are going to follow the exact same path in life or in basketball. Next question, Jacob XZ says, Dre, I'm almost 6'7". I can shoot well. My school team doesn't have any big players, so I have to play in the post. What workouts will help me with my post moves and become more comfortable in the paint? I love your videos. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Jacob. I think if you want to work on some post skills while still maintaining some perimeter abilities, we actually got a couple player programs coming out in the next set of signature workouts. You could probably take advantage of the signature offer, which would be good for you. Chris Bosh's program and LaMarcus Aldridge, those are two coming in the next package, but programs that are out now, we got Dirk Nowitzki is a good one. You could take a look at your size 6'7", you could even take a look at LeBron James's post moves, Kevin Durant's post moves. Both of those programs have some post skills involved in them. LeBron's a little bit heavier on the post stuff. Kevin Love, Tim Duncan, those are two other post players programs out already. Blake Griffin is another one that's out already. So those are players programs you can get now. If you want to take advantage of the signature offer and get all 16 ahead of time in the pre-order, you can take a look at, you'll have Chris Bosh and LaMarcus Aldridge available to you when those come out on September 1st. Next, Amazing144 says, I always think of LeBron, I always hear LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Durant say they want to get better. What do I think of that? I don't really think anything of it. Any player in anything, any sport or any endeavor in life, anything you're doing, of course you want to always continue to get better. If you're not getting better, then you're probably getting worse. Does that mean you got a day older, some more time passed, the other people around you are getting better? So if you're not getting better, then you're probably losing the race. So that's what I think of that. Brian Robinson, Dre, what is your basketball future looking like at this point? Are you looking to go overseas or NBA plans coming to fruition? We will see. I mean, people always ask me this question in person. People always ask me this question on the internet. We just got to see what the situation is. We got to see what the offers are. We got to see what the business looks like. I got to see what I'm looking at personally, what I'm looking at business-wise, and what I decide to do. So it's not really, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, maybe this, maybe that. All the speculation talk is useless to me. When something happens that people need to know about, I'll let you know. And if you don't hear anything from me, that means nothing happened that you need to know about by my judgment. Next question. Ian Sexton says, "What's up, Dre? I appreciate all the vids you make. I'm 16, going to my senior year of high school." He says, "I haven't played on the team my whole life, but I want to play pickup sometimes." And he's 5'11". He's considered himself pretty athletic. He can jump high, can't quite dunk yet. And his question is, do I have any advice on improving his game all around? Ian, you got to ask me a much better question than do I have advice on improving your game all around. Now, you watching this Q&A with me, you've probably seen my work on YouTube. You probably know about the Hoop Handbook, signature workout programs, and all the skill-based programs. You know about the thousands of videos I put out to develop your skills and work on your game. So for you to ask me any advice on you getting better, you got to ask me a better question than that, Ian. So reply to the comments in this video, ask me a more specific question if you want a more specific answer. Just asking me to give you tips on getting better. I've already done thousands of that for years, so you gotta ask me something better if you want me to give you a better answer. 24 Luong says, "What's up, Dre? I love your work. It inspires me to work hard and improve my skills." Glad to hear that. 24. He says, "I got two questions. How helpful is jump rope in basketball? What does it improve? And number two, what drills can I use to improve speed and quickness on the court?" Well, you can use jump rope to improve speed and quickness. Is one thing it does. It helps work on your footwork, your stamina, your agility, and anything else you want to know jump work helps with. Go get a jump rope, start using it, and see what improves. So a lot of players ask me questions like, "Yo, what will I improve if I do this? Or what will happen if I do that?" Why don't you just go and do it and find out? Because if I just tell you and you believe it, or you don't believe it and you think it won't help you, and then you never do it, you'll never know what results you'll get. Every person's body is different. So for example, I might go lift heavy weights and it might have a certain effect on me, but if you lift weights, it'll have a completely different effect on you. So no two people can do the exact same thing and they're not going to get the exact same results. Every person's body is different, everybody develops differently, everybody reacts different to different stimuli. That's on the basketball court and off the basketball court. So you need to go try those things out. I don't think there's any huge burden or anything stopping you from using the jump rope to find out what the results will be. So why don't you go do it and find out what will happen. And as far as improving speed and quickness, to answer your second question, you can go to my channel, look at the playlist. I have a playlist called Speed and Quickness. So you can do those drills, look at those drills. If you want a more specific program that addresses speed and quickness specifically for basketball players, check out the Ultimate Athlete. That's a 15-week program at hoophandbook.com. Next question. Always Dope Kick says, "What's up? 15, 6 feet tall. I'm being a sophomore in high school. I've been playing soccer all my life. I started playing basketball in 7th grade. I was put as a power forward because I was tall. I just had a torn ligament and I got out of shape that he just recovered from. He wants to take basketball serious now. He's a point guard. That's what he enjoys and loves doing. Do I think it's too late to pursue success in the game of basketball? For example, a scholarship would just have a big impact my senior year." Well, here's the thing. Do I think it's too late? The question is, do I think it's too late to pursue success? First of all, whether something is too late or is not too late is all in the eyes of the beholder. So whether you think it's too late or not too late, that's the answer to the question. It's not about what I think or what anybody else thinks, because the only person who can take action for what you want to do is you. So you had to decide if it's too late or if it's not too late. So I can't answer that question. As far as pursuing success, I have no idea what your measure of success is. Each individual has their own measure of their own picture of what success is for them in any endeavor they decide to get involved in. So what success means, I don't know what you mean when you say success. So you had to decide what success is. And the third thing is have a big impact. Again, it's the same thing. These are very vague phrases you're using. Success, big impact, too late. These are all things that are opinions. You had to decide what your opinion is. What is having a big impact? What is success? And what is too late? Those are 3 questions that you need to ask yourself, not to ask anybody else. Next question. B Soprano says, "What's up, Dre? Do you play in any summer leagues such as the Drew League and things like that?" The Drew League is based in LA. I live in Miami, Florida, so no, I did not play in the Drew League. As far as rec leagues, I don't play in rec leagues the way that I used to. Really now I prefer, if I'm not playing an official game or playing with and against like certain people in certain workout settings or something like that, usually I just prefer to practice. So I don't do a lot of training, basically stuff like that. So I don't do a lot of rec leagues like I used to. Daniel Duran says, have you ever been in a fight? The answer is yes. Juan Coronel says, Dre, dog, got a lot of respect for you. I think you're one of the realest on YouTube. Thank you. Juan says, my question is, I'm 6 feet, point guard, going to 10th grade. I'm shifty with my moves, and I'm a very good passer. I'm not struggling creating space, but I'm falling short most of the time. I tried jumping higher on my jumper, but seeing little results. And Juan didn't actually ask me a question, so I guess I'll just address the issue he brought up. And he says he's tried jumping higher on his jumper, but he's falling short most of the time. I guess he's talking about making jump shots. Well, Juan, what you need to do is probably put in a little bit more practice. Whatever practice you put in that made you so shifty with your moves and good with your passing and able to create space the way you do off the dribble, you need to put that same amount of time and effort into your jump shot. Because if you did, then you probably wouldn't have problems with your jump shot. So apply the same principles of work and dedication that you put to those things, put them to this next thing. Next question, iPad Man 2158 says, if you had to pick one, would you play AAU ball or high school ball? If I had to pick one, which one would I play? I'd go with high school ball. Frosty Breast says, Dre, I'm doing the Darren Williams workout program. I've been working out this summer, so I haven't had much time to do the drill. Sometimes I do like half of it or 3/4 of it on one day, and the next day I do the rest. And I still can't get these moves into my muscle memory and add the skills to my game to get good results. No, he says, can I still get those moves into my muscle memory and get the good results, even though it may take a little longer? Of course you can. If it takes you 10 years to get them into your muscle memory, then it takes you 10 years. If it takes you 10 weeks, then it takes you 10 weeks. At the end of everything, the goal is to get it done. So if it needs to take you longer because you don't have time or you're not finishing the workouts, then that's your situation. I mean, if that's the situation, there's nothing you can do about it anyway, right? So ain't no use complaining or worrying. Just do what you gotta do. Mr. Thaman Cool. I don't know what that says. It says, Dre, when you go to the gym, do you do a lot of weights like bicep curls, etc.? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean by do a lot of weights. And bicep curls, etc. I don't know what else goes, etc. with bicep curls. There are a million different ways you can use weights. You said do a lot of weights. So you got to be a little bit more specific with that question. Tough Tanny says, Dre, real talk, you didn't answer my question doing a flopping tutorial, but actually, can you do one like players? I know they do it and they get a hell of a lot of calls. Well, no, I'm not a person who flops, so if you want a tutorial on flopping, that's something that I'm probably not going to do, so you need to ask someone else. King Fawaz says, Dre, I was fasting in July due to my religion, so I lost my 3-point shot. How do I gain it back? I don't think your 3-point shot was lost because of your fasting. It might have been lost because you haven't been putting in work or something else. So if you want to get it back, do the same thing you did to get it in the first place. Marcus James says, Dre, I checked out the prices on hoophandbook.com. $20 is a lot for me for just one program. Could I do a giveaway for a discounted price? Marcus James, yes. You can get the next signature package, which is 16 programs, which would be priced normally at $20 a piece, $19.99. That's $320 at 16 programs. You can get all 16 for $99 right now. That's $6.70 per program. So you ask for a discount, there it is. It's available on the site right now, so go get it because you asked for it. Misael V says, I don't know if you answered this before, Dre, but I always wanted to know. Have you ever been afraid of age one day limiting your chances in your basketball career? Like, do you feel like your prime can end before you enter the league? So let me address the first question. Am I afraid of one day limiting my chances of succeeding further in my basketball career? No, I'm not afraid of anything limiting me. The only thing that can limit you is whatever you decide limits you. So no, I'm not afraid of anything limiting me because that's actually not possible. I can only place the limits on myself. Next question, he says, are there any stories that I could share about in that part of my life what I would do as a vocation? He's sure a lot of my fans around that age range, and I'm sure it can help a lot of them. Well, I don't think you speak for everyone, but maybe a lot of people agree with your question. I think you're more speaking for yourself. And I could just answer the question for you. It doesn't have to be applied to a bunch of people. That's why I do the Q&A, so I can answer individual people's questions. You don't have to speak for anyone else. You can. As far as what I would do after basketball, all the other stuff you see me doing besides basketball, I will probably get into. As far as the Q&A goes, I do like to answer one question per person. For all of you can Michelle asked me like 6 questions, but we're gonna keep it moving so everybody's question can get answered in a timely fashion. Eshwar Tangiraga says, Dre, I saw you wearing KD 6s from some summer serious event. Do I feel a difference between those and the Hyperdunks? Of course I feel a difference. It's 2 different pairs of shoes. No 2 pairs of shoes feel exactly the same. And actually I did a video about my favorite, you look up a video called My Favorite Hooping Sneakers. I put it out in November 2013, and you'll see me talk about the differences between those shoes. Sam Andrews says, I want to be able to finish by switching positions in the air. Are there any drills to work on it? I love the vids, keep working on your vids. Sam Andrews, if you want to finish by switching positions in the air, you've already described exactly what you want to be doing. So you don't really need drills. All you need to do is practice doing the thing that you want to be able to do. You already know exactly what it is. You know what it looks like, and you already have an idea. You just described it to me in words. So what's stopping you from going to the court and practicing it? A drill just means you find the thing you want to work on and you do it over and over and over again. That's all a drill is. But people only need to be given drills when they have no idea whatsoever what they're going to work on. But you already know what you're going to work on. So what's stopping you from doing it? KD Titan 35 says, Dre, what's your thoughts on KD being offered $300 million from Under Armour? Should he leave Nike? I never heard that number, KD Titan. I think you listen to too many rumors. I have no thoughts on it. If he signs it, that's great for him. If he doesn't, then he probably had a reason. But otherwise, I have no opinions on that man's business with Under Armour if he doesn't. Nick Charles says, great vids, Dre. What's your go-to move to get open from behind the arc? People always ask me about go-to moves. I don't really have any go-to moves. Whatever move I need to use in that particular situation on the court, that's the move I use. I don't have any one move that I'm like, all right, I'm absolutely going to do this move. I don't think any player does. Now, if you ask a player what's your go-to move, maybe if they're doing some video or something, they might give you a move just to give you something to use, something to work with. But no player is absolutely going to do the exact same move in every situation because every situation is different. No 2 situations are exactly the same. Whatever the situation presents to me, then I'll use something from my bag of tricks to get into that move. King Lion ZXX Ravencraw says, how'd you grow so tall if your parents were under 6 feet? Was there something you did to increase your growth spurt like stretching or milk? No, there was nothing that I did. It was, I guess, just a stroke of luck. Maybe it was some type of genes handed down from prior generations. I have no idea. I'm not a scientist. I can't explain it. I had no control over my height. I didn't do anything to make myself taller, and there's nothing you can do to make yourself taller. All the players out there who may be wondering the same thing, focus on the things you can control, which is your attitude, your effort, and your performance. Working on my game, says Dre. I'm 5'6", 13 years old. I love your videos. Well, thank you. Says my biggest advantage is basketball IQ. Kids can't score on me because I can read their body language and I can burn defenders. Unfortunately, I have a horrible jump shot and I'm inconsistent. Do I have any videos for him to watch or advice? Well, first of all, working on your game. If you have a horrible jump shot, you don't need to be watching videos. You need to be on the court shooting. That's why you got a horrible jump shot, because you're watching videos. Watching videos won't give you a better jump shot. Practice will give you a better jump shot. So whatever it is that made you so good with basketball IQ, you need to apply those same principles to getting good at shooting a jump shot. So get off YouTube, get off the internet, get off your phone, go to a court, get a ball, and work on your jump shot. Your name's called working on my game, you don't have a jump shot. So something's wrong, or something's incongruent right there between your jumper and your name. Next question, Kai Cardena says, Dre, did you try to flop when you are playing basketball? No, I don't ever flop when I'm playing basketball. It's just not something that I do. Valkyrie 26 says, how do you think you'll come up with so many combo moves? It's just because I'm in the gym all the time. I'm in there putting in a lot of work all the time. I'm on the court all the time. I've developed a lot of skills and worked on my fundamentals first. Then I got to the point where I could put together fundamental skills and come up with the moves. If you really study moves in basketball, all they are combinations of fundamentals just put together in different combinations. So the more that you do it, the more time you spend on something, the more creative you can get. If you look at a musician, the more years they put into creating music, eventually they start coming up with stuff that people couldn't even fathom, because they have such a mastery of it and they spent so much time doing it that they start coming up with things that people wouldn't even think about, because they put so much time and effort into it that they've gone past the basics. They can start creating things that nobody had ever thought of. So I guess I'm calling myself a master. Sat Dead says, what's up, Dre? I'm planning to buy the Ultimate Athlete program. I got a couple questions. Can I buy it online so you get a digital copy of it? Yes, it is a digital program, so that's the only way you can get it. Next question. He says, is it appropriate as in-season or is it only off-season? That's a good question. The ultimate athlete is adaptable to both in-season and off-season. When you get the program and you look at it, you'll see there's an in-season part and there's an off-season part. So you can actually use it for both situations. So good question. Mike Pucci says, Dre, got a question. Thanks for answering my question last week. You're welcome, Mike. Says, I'm 14, I'm 5'8", 135 pounds. Practice before school, after school, and late night. How can I balance practicing with school? Well, Mike Pucci, what you can do is prioritize. People always ask me this, how do they balance practicing with school? Each one of us has 24 hours in a day. So even if you're not in school, you might have a family you need to deal with. You might have business you need to take care of. You might have a job. You might have all other kinds of responsibilities. You need to prioritize. Figure out what's most important for you to get done. Do those first things first. Once those are done, and only when those are done, then you can do everything else. So if you are spending X amount of time practicing, and you know school is just as important, then you need to do both. You need to figure out time for school, figure out time for basketball, and allocate the correct amount of time for each based on what you need to get done. And that might change over time depending on what the demands are on you and on your life. Next question. Incredible. Dre, you going to NBA and do you try to get better every day? Well, whether I go there or not is not 100% my decision. Somebody will have to make a call and offer me something for me to go. Do I try to get better every day? Absolutely. I mean, if you're not trying to get better every day, you're getting closer to dying. So I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. So yes, I do try to get better every day. That's on the court and off the court. Next question. Human Torch says, Dre, how often do you use the Chris Paul spin dribble in a game or in one-on-one? Sorry if you already been asked this. I'm a new subscriber. Well, Human Torch, you don't have to apologize for asking the question I've been asked before. I don't think anyone, very rarely do I get asked a question I've never been asked before, but I do these Q&As anyway because I know everybody can't keep up with everything I put out. How often do I use the spin dribble in a game in one-on-one? I don't really think about how often. I don't write it down or anything like that, but any move in basketball, especially the special moves like the shake and bake or the sham god move or the Chris Paul spin dribble move, those moves actually come out once in a blue moon for any of those players, but people think those players do the move all the time because that's what they see on the highlight videos. Understand, a highlight video is 2 minutes of a 48-minute game. What was happening in the other 45 minutes of the game? You don't know because the highlight video doesn't show it. What's happening in those times is basic dribbling, basic passing, basic shooting, i.e. the fundamentals of the game. Players don't pay attention to the fundamentals because all they see is the highlights of the fancy stuff. So if you focus on the fundamentals, you could be the star for 45 minutes, then it might be 2 minutes out the game when the fancy highlights come out. That's what people talk about, but the thing that's going to get you on the team, keep you on the team, get you on the court, and get you respect to your teammates and coaches are the fundamentals. Hopefully that answers your question. Next one, Sneakerhead to Toes says, my brother deliberately broke my finger while playing basketball. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. He says, yes, it was on purpose. And his fingers broke, set him back to improving in his true love basketball. Doc says he can't play for 6 to 8 weeks. What should I do? Well, I guess you should listen to the doctor because I ain't no doctor, so I can't give you any medical advice other than what he told you. Malcolm X says, Dre, my name is Marty. I'm from the UK. I'm 6'1" and have a 6'6" wingspan. Do I have any suggestions on how I can improve my on-ball defense? Malcolm, you can go to my playlist, check out the playlist called Defense. You can also go to hoophandbook.com and see the Defense Mini Handbook. Next question. Balling Like the Raptors says, Dre, as a basketball player, do you consider yourself a perfectionist? And which WNBA player do you think you can play, do I think can play in the NBA? Do I consider myself a perfectionist? I wouldn't say I consider myself a perfectionist, but as someone asked me earlier, I'm always trying to improve. I don't know what you define as a perfectionist. And basketball is an imperfect game. There are no perfect basketball players, but I know some players talk about I'm striving for perfection, but and all this other cliche shit I don't care about. I hate cliche comments, especially ones about working hard, because a lot of players talk about working hard, but I see very few players who can actually play, but yet they know all the quotes. And what WNBA player do I think can play in the NBA? None of them. There's not a single WNBA player who can play in the NBA. C-Joy Dempsey says, do you play pro and for what team? C-Joy, go to my website, dreallday.com. So click on the link that says basketball and you'll see my entire basketball playing resume. Tan King says, how do you use your strength in favor against a weaker defender? You got to ask me something a little bit more specific than that. There are a million different ways you can use your strength in favor. If you watch some of my game clips, you can see how I do that, and I also explain it in the voiceovers of those videos. Dmitry Tukovic says, have I ever had experience with a low-carb diet? No, I have not. And yes, I've heard about LeBron and Carmelo and whoever else is speculating about using a low-carb diet. Do I think I'm going to do it because I've seen them doing it? No, I am not the type of person who, I'm a little bit older than a lot of you. You can't go through your life changing what you do and changing how you think and changing all your behaviors and your workouts and everything else every time you see somebody else doing something different. There are a million people in the world and a lot of them are successful. You can't copy everybody. You got to figure out what it is you're going to do and then stick to what you want to do. What I do is working for me. If I decide to make some changes, I do make those changes, but I don't make my changes every day when I see somebody else is doing something new I did. And a lot of you're probably not going to understand that till you're a little bit older, but don't say nobody told you. VKJ Productions says, Dre, first off, nice video, thank you. He says, I'm 14 years old, I'm 5'8" and a half, 175 pounds, I'm not athletic. He considers himself overweight and he wants to rely on his skills to make an impact on the basketball team. He thinks he's going to be a small forward or power forward. In high school, he doesn't have explosiveness. He's improved his ball handling. And he gives a pretty long description of his game, which I'm not going to read here. If any of you have really long questions to ask, you're better off emailing me than writing it in the Q&A, because as you see, I like to go through these pretty quickly. But we'll get to his question. He says, do I have any areas he really needs improvement and what he needs to do to take it to the next level? BKJ, I cannot answer that question based on your description. You would have to ask me what it is you can do to improve on X, Y, Z. If you are a player, you just gave me all the description of your game, and you don't know what you need to do to get better, then something's wrong. You should already know what you need to do to get better, and if you don't know, you need to go to the players you're playing with and the coaches you're playing for and ask them to tell you. You need to know that. That's your job. It's not anybody else's job to tell you what you need to work on. It's your job to know it if you're playing basketball as much as you said. And then he says, do I believe most of athleticism is born with or more worked for? Well, here's the thing with athleticism. There is a certain amount you can improve athleticism. If you are a marginal athlete, you can improve it at certain levels. There's a limit to how far you're going to get athletically, but you can improve your athleticism. That's why players do athletic workouts. That's why we do plyometrics. That's why people lift weights. Yes, you can improve. If you're not naturally athletic, you're not going to turn into LeBron James if you got a body like Boris Diaw. It's just not going to happen, but you can get better with work. So don't think that just because you're born not athletic doesn't mean that you're stuck there and that you shouldn't do the work. You should do the work. Next question. Judge Standage says, who was the hardest player to stop and hardest player to score against you faced? Hardest player to stop, if I had to name one off the top of my head, if I had to only name one player, hardest player to stop, I would say Joe Johnson, maybe the hardest player. Hardest player to score against, best defense. That's a tough one. I don't really have an answer for that. I played against a lot of players who had good defense, but at different stages of my game, so I might not have been that good at the time. Maybe if I played against them with my 5 years later self, I'd give them 30, but at the time I wasn't good enough. I don't have any one person who I would point out for that though. Tharusan Yogalingam says, Dre, I was wondering if you have any tips on how to be a calm and focused shooter. Because every time I take a shot, I panic, then I miss the shot. Great work on the drills and the motivation. I feel like a better player when I practice the drills and a better person when I'm watching motivational videos. Well, Tharusan, I'm glad to hear that. How to become a calm and focused shooter. You need to practice being calm and focused when you're working on your shooting. There isn't anything I'm going to tell you that's going to make you calm and focused. If I tell you something and then you got to think about it, guess what? You're not calm and focused because you're thinking about what I told you. So you need to practice being calm and focused, and this is something that you can do in your training. This is not something that you need to be constantly thinking of. When you're in the game, the last thing you want to be doing is thinking. You seen the video I put out 2 days ago, what you think about during the game? Watch that video. It addresses your question directly. One Laker Nation says, Dre, I've seen a lot of your vids. You've been drinking smart water. Is it because it has electrolytes, or is it because you just happen to have that water at your convenience? Well, that's a good observation, One Laker Nation. And the naked truth is that is not smart water. I bought one bottle of smart water, and then all I do is refill that bottle with tap water, and that is tap water you see me drinking. That is not smart water. Dom2324 says, Dre, what's your greatest accomplishment in basketball to date? Thanks for everything. You're a real inspiration to me. Well, Dom, my greatest accomplishment in basketball today is being a real inspiration to you. So I'm glad you told me that. Next question. I can't read this name. I believe I'm not even going to try to guess what language that is. But he says, Dre, I'm new to your channel. I need your advice. I play shooting guard and small forward, but my coach doesn't give me enough minutes to prove to him that I'm getting better. I started playing basketball a year ago. I'm 16. What do I recommend he can do so you can have a bigger role in the team. You got 3 choices. I've addressed this several times. Let me say it again for those who have not heard it. If you're having any type of issues with your coach or playing time, these are your 3 choices. Choice number 1, shut the hell up and keep working and you'll get your chance. Choice number 2, approach the coach. Speak to the coach respectfully. Say, coach, can I speak to you? Ask the coach, why am I not getting more playing time? What do I need to do to get more playing time? Listen to his answers and do what he says. Choice number 3, get off the team and go play for somebody else. Those are the only 3 choices you have. All right, the choice of bitching about it, complaining about it, feeling sad about it, and being a cancer to the team, that is not an option. So shut the hell up and keep working. Talk to the coach or quit. Those are your 3 choices. On any team you're on, you're having problems with the coach. Next question, John Peter says, do I have any brothers or sisters? Yes, I have a sister. She is a year older than me. She does not play basketball, and she's not that tall. Ty Breezy says, what's the point of All Dre All Day, the YouTube channel he's talking about, if I'm not going to post vids? Well, I am going to eventually post vids, Ty Breezy, but between the channels that I do post vids, I posted over 4,000 of them. What you saying is not enough? Have I not satisfied you with the videos I put out so far? You need more, Ty Breezy? Next question, Nakash123 says, when is the Dre Baldwin signature workout program coming out? It's a good question, Nakash. As soon as I get done with the next package of signature workouts, I'm going to get to work on the Dre Baldwin signature workout program. It's going to be unlike anything you have seen to date. Average Joe 1410, we almost done here. He says, Dre, is it bad to shoot and practice on a hoop that's lower than 10 feet? Like, will it give me a bad shot, make it difficult to adjust when I play on a 10-foot ring? Average Joe, I don't know. I think since you're asking that question, then you probably are practicing on the rim that's lower than 10 feet, and the reason you're doing that is probably because it's the only rim you have. Because if you had one that was 10 feet, you'd probably be using that, right? I'm just making an assumption here, but I think I'm correct, because usually people ask me that because that's the only thing they have. So if it's the only thing you have, use what you've got. It's better than using nothing, so just use what you've got. It's not going to mess up your shot. So if you're playing on that and you're making shots and you go play on a 10-foot court and you're missing shots, don't blame the rim, blame yourself. And if you need to find a rim that's 10 feet, go find it. If you need to walk a mile longer to go find a 10-foot rim, if that's going to keep you from having excuses, then go walk to the 10-foot rim. If you're not going to make excuses, use what you've got. So it really doesn't matter. The question doesn't even matter. Either use what you got or go use the other one, but no excuses, no weak questions. Don't give your mind a reason to have an excuse is the better thing to say. Justin Dillon said, do I think Darren Williams is the top 10 point guard as far as all-around game, and why? It's hard to say. I would have to sit and really think about all the point guards in the league. There are a lot of really good ones. I think he's top 10. I think when he's healthy, he definitely is in contention for it because he has all-around skills. It's like a lot of point guards do, but I'm not going to sit here and get into a point guard discussion in this video. Next question, Dre, have you ever been to San Diego? It's better than Miami. Or question is from Daryl Carter. Daryl, I have never been to San Diego, but no, it's not better than Miami. Would I ever visit San Diego? Absolutely. It's a place that I do want to visit, though I think I would. Actually, I'm not even going to create any more questions, but that's all I'm going to say about San Diego. So shout out to everybody in San Diego. Now, Sean Khan says, did any of my college teammates make it to the NBA? No, none of my college teammates played in the NBA. Majority of people who play in my college never play a minute of professional basketball at any level. So no, none of them did. Ray Meza, 2 questions left here, everybody. Ray Meza says, do I have a conditioning workout program? Would you be able to make one? Ray Meza, I do. Go to hoophandbook.com. There's a little search box up top. Type in conditioning, and you'll see the conditioning Hoop Handbook program. Next question, last question. Saraku15 says, in many of your videos where you do basketball moves, you start off with a pound like drop off dribble. Is there a particular reason why you do that? Well, Saraku, I put out over 4,000 videos here on YouTube. I don't think I do the exact same thing in many of any videos, and I doubt you watched over 2,000, which would be more than the majority, which would make your question accurate. So no, I don't think there's anything that I do all the time with any certain type of dribble. I think maybe you watched maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe you watched 100 videos, but I watched all 4,000, so I would have to disagree with the premise that your question is based on. And he says, if we practice doing that, should we be doing the same thing in games? Whatever you practice is what you're going to do in the game, so it's not about should. Whatever way you practice, that's how you're going to play. So it's not about should. You're not going to have a chance to think about it. The only thing your body's going to know is what you've been giving it in practice. So there's not anything you'll have a chance to decide. That's just what's going to happen. So thank you everybody for the questions for this week's Q&A. If you have further questions, leave them in the comments to this video. I will get to them. Again, hoophandbook.com is where I answer all your workout needs. We got new videos coming here on this channel every single day. Anything I haven't done, I've done everything. Anything I haven't done, y'all can leave those in the comments and ask me to do those, or I'll direct you to where you can find them, because I see a lot of you don't know about a lot of stuff that I've done. I've done more than anybody on YouTube you can name, all of them put together, actually. And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's the Q&A for this week. Thank you everybody for the questions. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com.
Hey, somebody sign that kid Dre Baldwin, man. I swear to God, man, he need to be on the team, man. That nigga be ballin', man. I be ballin' too, I swear. Man, I feel like Dre Ball, Dre